Welcome back to WrestleMania. What can top that TLC match? This could. Is for the X Division Championship. It's Austin Aries defending against the American Dragon Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan debuted to much fanfare on episode 40, and he immediately set his sights on Austin Aries, a former rival and a former opponent of his. And once again here tonight, they continue their legendary feud over the NLW X Division Championship. Austin Aries has never lost that championship here at NLW. In fact, he is the only champion in NLW history. And Daniel Bryan hopes to be the first man ever to defeat Austin Aries for that X Division Championship. Can he etch his name into history and become only the second ever NLW X Division champion? Judging by the response of this audience, they think he can. And Bryan, although he's got no on his tights, that stands for no nonsense, no quit, and no sense of giving up. So right now you can see Daniel Bryan in the ring, ready for one of the most important matches of his career here in No Limits Wrestling. Only the second time he has actually competed in No Limits Wrestling. The first was a decisive victory against Drew Galloway. And well, challenges in the ring. All we need now is a champion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the self-proclaimed greatest man who ever lived and our current reigning and defending X Division champion, Austin Aries, A-double. And he makes his way to the ring hella confident as well. And why shouldn't he be? He's got a great win-loss record. In fact, it's one of the best in NLW. And Daniel Bryan knows this. Bryan sees Austin Aries with that X Division championship, and all he thinks is, I want it. He wants the gold, and I can't blame him. Austin Aries, many have said he's the greatest X Division champion of our time, but then again he's the only one. And they're both in the ring, face to face, and the match gets underway. This for the X Division title, feeling each other out in the early going, and don't expect a high flying matchup, expect a ground and pound match, I should say. I was kind of taken aback by there. Well, it's a rabid atmosphere, there's no doubt about it. And look at this, Daniel Bryan not even letting go of the leg, holding on to it as both men roll to the outside. And Aries was in trouble there, and Bryan, no nonsense from the get-go. Going for the shoulder block, but kicks right back up. And look at the resilience of the American Dragon. Bryan, well, listen to this. Bryan, obviously a fan favourite here tonight, and oh my goodness, what a drop kick. And now he's going after that ankle. And although Aries is usually a fan favourite, they do appreciate his wrestling skill. However, many feel that Bryan tonight is his night. And now there's a roll through, and again a drop kick by Aries. Bryan, brains may be scrambled at the moment. And now Aries sees him roll to the outside, and that may be the wisest thing for Bryan to do. But there is Aries, right back on him with the axe handle from the second rope to the floor. And now rolls his way back into the ring. And there's the elbow again, right to the sternum. Aries and Daniel Bryan, arguably two of the greatest technical wrestlers of this generation, perhaps of all time. And they're putting that on display here, all in the name of the X Division Championship. There's the Insiguri in the knee drop. Dropping the knee right onto the face, and an uppercut by Bryan. And now going for the Irish whip, but there's Aries right back at him. And now a roll through, here's the cover. And again a massive kick to the face as well. And Bryan, it's well documented those concussion problems. And again this rabid audience getting behind Bryan, but Bryan, look at this. Here's the sleeper on the top rope, and Aries manages to get out of the way. But there's the high drop kick from the top, the missile drop kick. Connects with a sickening thud. And now has him held in the camel clutch position and trying to choke him out now, as this audience once again gets behind Daniel Bryan. And Aries doing everything he can to try and get out of it. Now he's on his feet. And now in the headlock position. Oh, and the atomic drop and the back suplex as well. And Aries checking for blood. I think that missile drop kick possibly could have busted him open, but it didn't that time. And there's the kick to the stomach. Aries going to the top. And we know what he's going for here. Going for the 450, lands on his feet. But Bryan now with that triangle choke. Or he's trying to get that triangle choke. At the moment it's more of a armbar. And Aries trying to get some leverage. And he does. Holds him by the head. And now here we go. Aries none the wiser to submission either. Here is the last chancery in the centre of the ring. And now Bryan, oh my goodness, look at this survival-like tactics. Biting the hand of Aries, and I don't know how legal that was. But certainly managed to get out of it that time. But now Aries rolls off the ropes. Running at him now. And going for the dive, the suicide dive through the first rope. But hits our announce table out here. And now Bryan running off the ropes. How wise is this? Oh, and the suicide dive from Bryan, but Bryan ain't done. There's a second one. And again running off the ropes, and a third suicide dive. And yes, is all we hear from this audience. 3 suicide dives from the second rope. And 3 in a row. And Aries, look at him stumbling on his feet out here. And our announce table's mangled at the moment from the bodies. Good grief, we'll take a look at this again. Not only was it 3 in quick succession, but the velocity at which he delivered those suicide dives. And there it is, the third one is the charm. And posing in the ring. And Daniel Bryan is here to stay. That was what that was meant to be. And now again a drop toe hold, and again going after the headlock, trying to wear him down. And again ringing the arms around. And a test of strength here, but goes after him. Going for that brainbuster, but instead the bridge by Bryan from the Northern Lights suplex, and again has the arms held and not letting go. But now Bryan has that leg, and again taking him out of the legs. That's what you want to do if those legs are damaged. Not going to be able to hit that brainbuster. And the half leg Boston Crab, the single leg Boston Crab by Daniel Bryan, and again going for some sort of STF, but Aries stubborn to let that happen, and again rolls through. But Bryan still on the apron, and Bryan not showing any sign of quit at the moment, but he might do after that. Good grief. Stern punch, and again the springboard moonsault, and spins around into the ring with that splash. Daniel Bryan, although he's getting a lot of love earlier on this evening, he's not getting much love at the moment. The fans in the stunned silence, and are going for that brainbuster, and again that massive uppercut by Austin Aries. And Aries on the top rope, and this may be damage for Bryan, but Bryan with the back suplex from the top rope. And just as quickly as Aries looked to be getting some momentum, Daniel Bryan stopped the ex-losing champ in his tracks. And going for the German suplex. And now lands on his feet, and oh my! What a kick to the skull. That was a field goal from Austin Aries. And right to the top of the head. But how is Bryan still standing after that? He's not at the moment. But there's the Hurricane Rana. And now goes over him again. And now Aries jumps up, caught by the arms. And now Aries again! Taste of his own medicine with that spinning punch. And Aries flipped out of his shoes. Daniel Bryan now, again ringing the leg. And working on that leg effectively like he did earlier on in the match. Prevents him from hitting the brainbuster later on maybe, but he's in the ropes now. But Aries runs off them. And the suicide dive that time. That time it connected. And Aries with that suicide plancher through the second rope. And now throwing the prone body of Daniel Bryan back in the ring. And now he's on his shoulders, fireman's carry. And spins him around in the aeroplane spin. And there you see him dropped off in the Spicoli driver. And here we go. Aries points at the crowd and a little bit of showboating. And I don't know how wise it was. Yes, he connected the elbow, but any time longer and Bryan may have just about recovered, and he's not going for a second suicide dive, is he? Oh, he was. But Bryan back there with the kick. And there's a punch, but another punch by Bryan. And Aries crumples to the mat in a heap. Aries looks up into the heavens. Not going to like the looks of this. There's the headbutt, Dynamite Kid-like. But again, Aries kicks out, and again looking for the Headlock, and here we go. Aries rolls through, and another last chancery. And Aries looking for that last chancery, but Bryan in the ropes. If he'd had that in the middle of the ring, could have been a different outcome. And that kick creates some separation. Daniel Bryan trying to get some... What the hell? No way. Oh my. You gotta be kidding me. And this is a vintage Bryan here with a cattle mutilation in the center of the ring. Aries may have no choice but to give up. Oh, but instead rolls through with those arms still hooked. But Bryan back at him, kicks out in that triangle choke. And now both men back to their feet. And Aries going for the brainbuster, is he? But here's the roll through by Daniel Bryan. The kick out by Aries, and oh my! Rolls into the brainbuster! Oh, but Bryan gets his foot on the rope. And the brainbuster wasn't enough. And once again this crowd picks up for Daniel Bryan. No doubt they respect the technical ability of Austin Aries, but in this fight, Bryan is the underdog. Aries, in fact, has been champion for over a year. And Bryan may be the man to beat him if he continues to do this. And now those kicks, vicious kicks, making the chest of Aries red, but misses that kick. And here's the Hurricane Rana by Aries. Going for the last chancery again. But Aries gets caught out. And Bryan rolls through into the label lock. And he is in the center of the ring. Label lock by Bryan. Some call it the yes lock. And it is working at the moment. Aries in the middle of the ring, but again a roll through by Aries. And Bryan just about kicks out. My God, that was 2.5. And now a running knee. Here's the cover by Bryan. And we have a new X Division champion. That running knee was the charm for Bryan. And once again at WrestleMania, the championship has changed hands. Daniel Bryan is your new NLW X Division champion, and only the second ever X Division champion in history. Well, we'll take a look at the replays of this matchup, the highlights. He looked for the last chancery, did Aries, but turned into the rebel lock, turned into a pin, and then the roll through. Aries wasn't paying close enough attention, because otherwise he may have stopped that running knee, but the running knee is what did it for Daniel Bryan, knocking Aries senseless. And I don't think Daniel Bryan can quite believe it. You see him still in the ring in shock, and Aries there on our stage. His nearly 15-month reign has come to an end, and it has come to an end on the grandest stage possible here at WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan celebrates in the ring with the championship, but you gotta believe this isn't the last that these two have seen of each other. Daniel Bryan poses in the ring because he is our new X Division champion. I'm telling you something right now, that guy's going to have to live up to the hype. Certainly hyped himself up over the past few weeks. Well, speaking of hype, there's been a lot of hype surrounding this new women's division here in No Limits Wrestling. And here tonight, for the first time ever, the Women's Championship will be on the line. And here comes the first woman who hopes to take that Women's Championship here tonight and etch her name into NLW history. AJ Lee, who only a few weeks ago, in fact it was last week, that AJ Lee won the pinfall in a tag team matchup also featuring Trish Stratus and Charlotte, where the winner, the person who got the pinfall, would be added to this matchup. However, Trish Stratus and Charlotte couldn't communicate, so what was originally meant to be a one-on-one match between Trish and Charlotte turns into a triple threat thanks to the decision last week. And well, a less than stellar response from this audience here tonight. Charlotte, the wrestling business is in her blood, and here tonight hopes to etch herself into history as well by becoming the first ever NLW Women's Champion. And this, the first women's title match on pay-per-view here in NLW. And Charlotte, the daughter of Ric Flair, she's going to continue to mention it. I know I would, if I was Ric Flair's daughter. Wait, well that came out wrong, but you know what I mean. Charlotte eyeing up one of the women who stands in her way. And that leaves only one in this triple threat equation. It's time for WrestleMania to get a lethal dose of satisfaction. And Trish, who defeated Maria to get here. Charlotte, who defeated AJ to get here with some underhanded tactics. And well, that was rectified this past week, but here comes the third member of this matchup. Charlotte making sure to keep her eye on AJ Lee. In fact, AJ Lee has been quite unstable in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania, attacking Charlotte, trying to get some revenge, and well, the ultimate form of revenge would be to take that women's title. Certainly has her fair share of fans here tonight, as does AJ Lee. Charlotte not so much. Fans haven't been really sympathetic towards her because of her actions. But there you see the women's title, and that's what these women are fighting for. There's AJ Lee and Charlotte going at it already, and Trish and AJ trying to work together, but Charlotte drags out Trish, and there's the Hurricane Rana by AJ. Fast-paced matchup here to kick off the women's division at WrestleMania. Oh my. And there's a stomp by Charlotte, vicious as she is. Learned a lot from the Nature Boy, her father. Oh, look at this. Oh my. Well, there's that Alabama slam onto the ring apron. And in the ring, backbreaker by Charlotte to Trish. And now a cross-face chicken wing of sorts. At least she's hyperextending the elbow. And there you go. Here comes AJ Lee to break that up, break up that submission. And going right after Charlotte. And driving her into the corner. But here comes Trish, throwing AJ out of the ring. And that leaves the two of them in the ring. Charlotte on the second rope. And there is the Hurricane Rana. The leg scissors by Trish. She's held women's championships throughout her illustrious career. And can she add another women's championship here tonight at NLW WrestleMania? It doesn't look like it at the moment. There's the figure four. We know where this comes from. Figure four onto Trish. And she's in trouble. Oh my! Where did AJ come from? From the top rope. That elbow drop. Breaking up the figure four leg lock. And AJ saving the matchup. Saving her chances. And now, double knees to the gut. But here comes Trish again. And my goodness. There's the German suplex. Sits out. And AJ Lee lands hard on her neck. And speaking of neck, that's going to cause you some neck problems. That's stunner by Charlotte. But Trish has her well scouted. And there's the drop kick. Takes her out of the legs, and here comes AJ to break it up yet again. Runs off the ropes. On her shoulders, and powerbomb directly into Charlotte Flair. AJ on the outside. And Trish going right after her. How wise is this? There's the gorilla press. And slaps her across the face. No respect whatsoever from Trish here tonight. And you don't blame her. Well, here we go. There's AJ and hang on. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, look at Charlotte on the top there. And Charlotte with the moonsault from the top rope. And that just goes to show you how much this matchup means to each of these women. Not endearing herself to the crowd whatsoever. AJ thrown into the ring, as was Trish. And Charlotte looking to go on the offensive. Well, we'll take a look back at this. The height she got with that moonsault, a perfectly executed moonsault. I don't think I've ever seen Ric Flair do that. But there you go. Both women down in the centre of the ring, and the natural selection. Double natural selection, never see that. And Charlotte going to work as well as AJ in trouble, but punches her way out of the situation. And Trish now going to the top. And now in that electric chair position. But Trish comes off the top. delivers the drop kick to Charlotte and AJ Lee. Collateral damage there, and here we go. A similar move to what Charlotte applied earlier on in the matchup. And Charlotte in the centre of the ring, that crossface chicken wing. Charlotte fading. We may have a new women's champion right here. And Charlotte, she's passing out at the seams here. But AJ breaking it up. And AJ with that variation of the Black Widow. At the moment it's only an armbar, because Trish is desperately trying to manoeuvre herself so she's not caught into that Black Widow. But here comes, oh my, here comes Charlotte and the figure four. Don't know how well it's been locked in there, but certainly a lethal variation of that figure four. But AJ reverses the pressure. AJ reverses the pressure, and Charlotte feeling the effects of this move now. But Charlotte manoeuvres herself and goes into the figure eight, putting even more pressure onto the legs of AJ Lee. And AJ's in the centre of the ring. She may have to tap out here, but Trish Stratus saves the matchup for herself. Drags AJ out of harm's way, saving the matchup. Oh my! Vicious chop and another one for AJ. But now both women attack Charlotte. And there's the spear by Charlotte. AJ down, holding her ribs. And Charlotte knows what she wants to do, but instead gets her face planted into the turnbuckle, trying to fight her way out of this, and she does. But AJ Lee still feeling the effects of that spear. And now Charlotte and Trish on the top rope. And AJ going to make them pay for it. Charlotte on the top rope. And Trish Stratus hung in that tree of woe. Well, she's in a precarious position as it is. But AJ Lee follows up Charlotte, looking for the suplex. But Trish is there to drag them back down to the mat. And the mass of humanity just hit the mat at full force. Sickening impact from Trish Stratus to Charlotte and AJ. And we know he's in control at the moment. Oh, going for a back suplex, but AJ lands on her feet. And not only does she land on her feet, manages to get that arm, ring it around, and now we've got that Black Widow in the centre of the ring. Trish Stratus is far from the ropes at the moment, and this audience going crazy. Are we seeing a new women's champion right here? But there's Charlotte to break up the pin and cost AJ Lee her dream like she did the original. Oh no. And I was about to say we had a new women's champion, but Charlotte trying to take credit for the work of AJ Lee. After all, the original match she qualified in, it was Charlotte who screwed AJ Lee out of her chance, and there's the drop kick. Charlotte misses Trish, and the drop kick to Charlotte, and now, oh my, wants to go for some sort of press slam, does she? But hang on! Oh my! 2, 3! Oh, new champion! From out of nowhere! From out of nowhere, the total satisfaction. And with that, our new NLW Women's Champion and the first ever NLW Women's Champion is Trish Stratus. She's etched her name into history before, no stranger to that, but here tonight has added yet another accolade to her already illustrious career by becoming the Women's Champion. Well, Charlotte missed with that crossbody, and AJ Lee made her pay with a drop kick, and she went flying out of the ring. And then from out of nowhere, Trish Stratus having the wherewithal and the veteran experience to turn that original press slam into total satisfaction, the bulldog by Trish. And with that, we've got a new women's champion at WrestleMania. History continuing to be made here tonight, and Charlotte so unhappy with that result. But AJ Lee deserved to be here tonight, and she got redemption this past week, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. So close. However, Trish Stratus ends up winning the title. Charlotte and AJ, I'm sure they'll bounce back, but the story here is that the first ever women's champion in NLW history, that is Trish Stratus.
Just look at this. It could all end right here. This could be the very last time that I look you each in the eye and say you're the most dominant faction in professional wrestling, because after tonight, you could all be disbanded and go your separate ways. Well, tough shit. That ain't gonna happen. You're gonna go out live across the world, and you're gonna show everyone why we deserve to be in control of No Limits Wrestling. When you're NWO for life. We've seen No Limits Wrestling crumble at the seams. We've seen selfishness and greed corrupt them, and people would argue that selfishness and greed has corrupted the NWO, but that couldn't be further from the truth. We are a unit. We are together. We fight as one, and that is why we have reached this point. Not one member of the NWO, since we have had a stranglehold of NLW, has left. That shows you we're doing something right. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to tell you this is going to be a walk in the park, because no, it's not. It's going to be one of the most difficult matches of each of your careers. I guarantee that. And I know I usually go in confident and cocky as ever, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not expecting a clean sweep. I couldn't put that expectation on your shoulders. But what I am expecting is a dominant display and victory. We're going to win tonight, and we're going to take control of this company like we know we deserve. And of course, if one of you were to mess up, which won't happen by the way, but if anybody messes up in any capacity, that secret weapon that I mentioned last week, they're in the wings. And if at any point I feel threatened, or I feel this plan's gone to hell, then that master plan will be unveiled for the entire world to see. That secret weapon's only there as a backup though, don't rely on it. But if worst comes to worst, then that secret weapon will be there to help. But you don't need it, because we're a team, and we're going to do what we've done for months, and that's kick ass, take names, and at the end of the night, take control of this company.
Well, strong words from the commissioner in that speech there, and you can already see they're taking it more seriously than they took it, as you saw that Instagram post with R-Truth mocking Finn Balor with the IC title. That's why he had it there. But ladies and gentlemen, up next, this is anything but fun and games. This is a mind game situation. Bray Wyatt takes on Sting. That happens at WrestleMania. Up next.